Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahweh Shah, Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahweh Shah. Call Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, Bashem Raha Hadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, a great millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect scattered across the four winds. It's your brother Yakar Abin, Great Millstone Houston, and double honors to the men that taught our elders and apostles. I just want to go into the promises that the Heavenly Father gave to Israel. The uh, there are all kinds of wayward doctrines coming out where people believe that the heathen will receive the same promises as the Israelites, and this is simply not the case. This is not, this is not what the scriptures speak of. It's a wayward doctrine. Yes, there are going to be people looking like, looking like every nation under heaven, but their line, their lineage, their father's father goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So, if you want to say that the heathen will receive salvation in that sense, then okay, yeah. But no, an actual heathen who's, it doesn't matter what they look like. See, that's people. People have people don't seem to understand that it's not an appearance thing. You know, let's get it. Here we got it. This is First John. Oh no, that's not in. Is Romans. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 16. It says, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. So, I mean, it doesn't have any. The Lord said that He was going to scatter His people into all nations. So when the Israelites are scattered or went into captivity, the Israelites got with the women of those nations, and then they had offspring. And then that offspring got with the women of those nations, and then they had offsprings, to where it comes down, hundreds of years down the line, they look like those people. But their spirit actually bears witness with our spirit that they're the children of the Most High. So they are Israelites. It doesn't. So yes, in a sense that, the Israelites that are among those people will be brought out of those people, right? And they will receive, the promises of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but not those people. If that makes sense, if that makes sense, because people want to say that people are mixed. No, there's no such thing as a mixed person. The Father has the seed in His loins. The Father, just like a apple tree. If an apple tree drops an apple, that apple has seeds in it, and those seeds are going to produce an apple tree, no matter where it's planted. So the same with man. Man has seed. He has sperm in his testicles. And when he drops that seed, it doesn't matter where it's planted, that seed is going to bear forth fruit of that man. And that's the same with Abraham, through Isaac, through Jacob, down to the 12 tribes. But we're gonna get those promises though. I mean, we're just gonna go over it real quick. And this is a simple verses. These are simple verses. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 1. It says, it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither Yahweh, by Shem Yahushua, thy power have driven thee. So, okay, that right there, the Lord said that he's going to drive, his people that we would call, let's read it again. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither Yahweh, thy power, have driven thee. So the Lord said that he was going to drive the Israelites into all different nations. And shalt return unto Yahweh by Shem Yahushua thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thine soul. That then Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, as the Lord, whose name is Yahweh, which means he is, or the existing one. And it says, Ba Hashem, in the name, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning the, and Sham meaning name. Yahawashah, which is his son's name, which means he is the deliverer. Yahweh and Yahawashah, who the world ignorantly calls Lord or God, and Jesus, Jesus. It says, then Yahweh, in the name of Yahawashah, thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all nations whither Yahweh Shem Yahushua thy power have scattered thee. So the Lord said that he's going to gather his people through the seed line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob out of all the nations where he has driven them. It says, if any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, thy power, gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. So, that seed that's spread out amongst all the other different nations, the Lord said he's going to gather it. He's going to gather it up. He's going to pull that, that particular seed line, those people that go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he's going to pull them out of all the other nations. Yeah, so you're going to have people looking like Esau. You're going to have pasty, pale white males that come out of Israel. You're going to have Moabites, slanty-eyed Moabites and Ammonites. They're going to come out of that into they're going to be Israel. You're going to have tall, lanky, jet black Hamites that are going, that are going to come out of that, because the Lord said that he was going to scatter his people into all nations. You're going to have Elamites. You're going to have, the so-called Samoans, all of these different bywords. You're going to have people that look like every different nation that the Lord is going to gather. But those people are Israelites. It's a simple concept, but people don't seem to get it. It says, if any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh by Shem Yahushua thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yahweh by Shem Yahushua thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahweh, by Shem Yahushua, thy power will circumcise thine heart. See, this is the new covenant. He will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love Yahweh, by Shem Yahushua, thy power, with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Lord, Yahweh, by Shem Yahushua, thy power, will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So right there, that's a separation. The Lord's enemies, the heathen, they're not gonna receive in the promise, because they are enemies of the Lord. They're enemies of the Lord and enemies of his people. So they're not going to receive the promise. We'll get it again. This is in Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel chapter 36, starting at verse 24. It says, therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, I do this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my, I'll say, Salakia, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them, and the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh by Shem Yahushua power, that I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. So the Lord said that he's going to separate the Israelites, sanctify them before the heathen in their eyes. He's gonna separate them out. So they can't enjoy in that same promise if he's separating us out of them. This is what the whole scriptures are about. The scriptures are about the Lord coming and fetching his people out of the midst of the heathen and showing the heathen that his people were scattered amongst them, and then setting up his people to rule. I mean, this is what the whole Bible is about. So if you think that the heathen is going to get part in rulership, you're mistaken. Although there are going to be people that look like the heathen, but they're not. They're Israelites. Okay. It says, for I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land. Okay. The Lord said, well, I want to get that. I want to get that where it says that, it says, this is Ezekiel 36 and 22. It says, therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith Yahweh power, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went. Okay, so we're going to get that in Esdras. This is Second Esdras chapter 3, starting at verse 30. So, I'm going to read down, but it explains that it's speaking about Israel, but we're going to get it. It says, this is Second Esdras chapter 3 and verse 30. It says, for I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, meaning the other nations, and hast spared wicked doers, the other nation, and has destroyed thy people, and has preserved thine enemies, and has not signified it. It says, I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon better than that of Zion? So the Esdras is asking, basically he's posing a question, are the Babylonians better than Zion? Because, I see you suffering them sinning and doing wickedly, but yet they're prospering, and your people have been destroyed. Your enemies have you've taken care of your enemies, and your people have been destroyed. So are the Babylonians better than Israel or Zion? It says, or is there any other people that know of thee besides Israel? No, there's no other people. The Lord hadn't dealt so with any other nation. Let's get that. This is Psalms 147. 19. This is Psalms 147, chapter 19. It says, He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. So, the Lord hadn't dealt with the other nations. It says, or is there any other people that knoweth thee besides Israel? Or what generation have so believed thy covenants as Jacob? And yet their reward appeareth not. The Israelites are catching hell. Their reward appeareth not, and their labor have no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth and think not upon thy commandments. And that's exactly today. The heathen don't think upon the law, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father. Not at all. So why in the hell would they receive salvation or, the promises, the same promises that the Lord gave Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and his 12 sons? Why would those other nations receive that? Because they don't think on the Lord's commandments. They didn't make an agreement with the Lord, a blood contract to do his will. Okay, I'm going to finish this and then we're going to go to it. It says, and yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor hath no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth and think not upon thy commandments. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and theirs also that dwell the world, and so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. So back to Ezekiel, it says, oh, no. This is Ezekiel 36 and 22. Therefore saith unto the house of Israel, thus saith Yahweh by Shem Yahushua power, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen whither you went. So he, Yashar Allah, he, Shar, prince, power. He's the son of God. So Israel is named after Yahweh. So as it says in Ezekiel, it says, weigh therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and theirs also that dwell the world, and so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. Thy name is not found anywhere but in Israel. That being the law, statutes, the commandments, and, being a prince of the power. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept thy commandments? It says, thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. So the heathen haven't kept them because they're not a part of it. The Lord never made an agreement with the heathen. So therefore they receive no inheritance. They're not heirs. They're not heirs according to election, because they are the heathen. They're the heathen, let's get it. This is Exodus chapter 24. Oh, so I can. Exodus chapter 24. Come on now. Come on. Now the computer want to act slow because edification going out. It says Exodus 24 and 3, and Moses came and told the people all the words of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yahweh by Shem Yahushua have said, we will do. And Moses wrote all the words of Yahweh and rose up early in the morning and builded an altar unto the hills and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which sacrificed burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto Yahweh. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in the basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people and said, all that Yahweh by Shem Yahushua have said, we will do and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahweh by Shem Yahushua hath made with you concerning all these words. So, that's the covenant. That's the covenant. The covenant was not with the heathen. The covenant was with the house of Israel. And we're going to go back to that Ezekiel. It says, and I will sanctify my great name, which was profane among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them, and the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, say of Yahweh power, when I shall be sanctified in your eyes before their eyes. It says, for I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all nations and bring you into your own land. So, the Lord scattered us into all nations. So he's going to gather us out of all nations, and we're going to be looking like all nations. But yet those that are gathered out of the nations are Israelites. Simple, easy concept. If you can't get it, then, hey, it's not for you, but it's simple. It says, then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean from all your filthiness, and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. So this is the new covenant. The new covenant is for the Israelites, like it said in Deuteronomy. It says, and Yahweh by Shem Yahushua thy power will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love Yahweh by Shem Yahushua thy power with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. So the Lord is going to take that he's going to take that he's going to give us a new heart and a new spirit, Like it says, a new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. This is the new covenant. This is the new covenant. It talks about it there in Deuteronomy 30, it talks about it in Ezekiel 26. It talks about it all over the Holy Scriptures. We're going to get it one more time. We're going to get it in, let's get it in Hebrews. And then we're going to close out. We're going to get it in Hebrews. This is Hebrews chapter 8. This is Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 7. It says, for if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, meaning the people, he said, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. So the new covenant is with the house of Israel being the northern tribes, and the house of Judah being the southern tribes. So it doesn't include anybody else in there. That's just Israel and Judah. And then Israel being all 12 tribes. It says, not according to the covenant that I made with your fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt. Okay, that was the covenant that we read about in Exodus 24. Because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. The house of Israel, the northern and southern tribes, all 12. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. And I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. It says, okay, so let's jump back. Let's jump back to that Ezekiel 36. And it says exactly the same thing. It says, then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness, from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them. See, I mean, it says exactly the same thing, and that's only for Israel. That's only for Israel. That's not for the heathen. That is for Israel that's scattered among the heathen, but that is not for the heathen. Like it says right there. It says, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. Right there. It says, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. And I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. So, hey, that's it. You know, the covenants are only for Israel. You know, the heathen have no part in salvation. The heathen have no part in rulership. The heathen have none of this. You know, in the kingdom of heaven, the heathen will be under Israel. Point blank, period. With that being said, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushua, Ba'Shem, Ruach Hadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect scattered across the four winds. The water, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. Hopefully this is an acceptable sacrifice. Shalom. Kwam Yashala.